These are designated loudmouth. Give the man a microphone. Hey, kids. Good crowd, thank you. First of all, anybody remember who gave this to me last time? Is it? No. Nancy always remembers, because if you can believe it, Nancy has one thumb drive to her name.
Air is ready to be paired.
She bought another one. I had to talk her into buying another.
But in the UK, Air is connected.
Oh, how cheap can you be, huh? Okay, a few things, a few business items. Kemp, if you would show, the October show is coming up, as you may have been reading every month ad nauseum in the newsletter. September 7th is a deadline for participating members to submit the number and approximate sizes of what you want to do. So we're getting close. So
which file?
Newsletter. Yep.
This one, nine posts that Richard has set up a page in the website for exhibits.
Right.
And anyone who's going to be in the October exhibit is more than welcome to send Richard a digital version of the image that is going to be shown in the exhibit.
So get your frames ready and get your photographs ready. And if you know Richard.
Just clarify. Yeah, I intend to, but
okay. Okay. If you want to know where the site is, go up the library and go downstairs, turn left and go back, and it's that wall where we've usually been. It's not a huge space, so don't think you're going to get a 4x5 picture there. But take a look. And everybody is encouraged, because it's a chance to show off your work. What you see here is what I'd like to do for the next newsletter. We've had great success with your favorite photographs, and thanks to everybody who's contributed. And what I'd like to do is your favorite black and white images, whether you took them in black and white, which is probably not the case, but adapted to black and white. That's just one of mine favorites from a few years ago. It's an old veteran at one of the war memorial ceremonies, and I just loved his face and that sort of faraway look in his eyes. So if you want to take part and you've got a favorite black and white or 2 or 3 black and whites that you like, please send them to me by, what's today? The 10th? 12th. Send them to me by the 20th. Put that down in your books. Send me something by the 20th, and we'll have a black and white issue for the next newsletter. The photo challenges, this month was in the country, and I let you decide that yourselves, what you classify as the country. And for September, it's doorways, windows, and or porches. This is right down Nancy's alley because she likes to do windows and doors and so forth. And again, that's a challenge. And could you look at photo 2025? My wife runs a writing group, and one of her challenges to her writers was to write pieces based on movie titles. And I thought, I wonder if that would make an interesting photo challenge.
It is so cool.
These are some ideas for next year, and it's not too soon to start thinking about them. I'll send this out, but these are all, I'm sure you've all recognized most of them. Good, the bad, and the ugly. That'll be a challenge. I want to see what you come up with for that. But Some Like It Hot, Wonderful Life, Sound of Music, Airplane. We'll have another shoot out of the airport, perhaps. I'll send this out. But there's a bunch that you can start thinking about because I'll make that. I may choose a subject for a month, and like for next August, Some Like It Hot. But anyway, that's the idea, and I guess people seem to like it. Okay, I don't think I have any other business. Sue, do you have business?
I would introduce what we're doing.
Okay, and Harold, any financial business?
Now, I pay our liability insurance fees, other than that, I think it's fine.
Okay, good. In that case, I think we'll move to our program, which is Sue.
First of all, the cream cheese itself. You know, you hate to assume, but the paper play through the boards.
Oh, Sue, can I interrupt for 1 second? I have a photographer friend who is no longer capable of doing photography. He's giving away stuff. I'll put it on the bag, but we've got bags, we've got little bags, we've got a waste pack, we've got a bunch of things free, including the big bag. So I'll just put it back over here somewhere. After that, you can just take a look, and if there's anything you want, for whatever reason, take it. It's free. He can't use it anymore.
Go ahead, feel free to get some refreshments, put some cream cheese on it. First of all, thank you for being here.
Question mark. I'm in a meeting now and you can elevate the costume shop.
Whatever the case may be in the last several days. We're going to have a fun, interactive program today. Pam over there will show you or then give you, these are breakout sessions, and we invite you to go to all of them. Kemp will show us how he did his AI photograph, altered his photograph using AI that we did last month. And he'll show you some other, how else you can use it. And perhaps if you have some ideas too, be sure to share them with Kemp. Anita, well, most of us probably have Photoshop or Lightroom Classic or some other program that we use to post-process. And probably several of us have Topaz. Anita here has agreed to help us wade through and give us an overview and show us how she uses Topaz to enhance her photos. I'm as Topaz AI. Oh, AI, great, thank you. So be sure you visit her breakout session there. Tom, we have seen a lot of his floral images and I go, how did you do that? He will show us how he did that, how he photo stacked and runs it through a special program. And he's also, will be happy to show you his workflow with Lightroom Classic. Often when he's at Lewis Ginter and he is on an assignment, they go, we need that on the website, 20 minutes. It's like, or less. He'll go through his workflow and how quickly he can do that. And there are some tips that you'll pick up and also that you can share. Last spring, several people I know have come up to me and say, because I've asked them, do you use a flash? And I would say, oh, that's a hassle. It's another piece of equipment. I don't know anything about it. And it's all of the above. But this last spring, I forced myself on a personal project to put the flash on my camera and actually use it. And not the built-in flash, but an actual external, and put it on somewhere else and to see what it can do. So that's what I will be doing. I know several of you already are such pros that you're using flash in different ways. So that's what I will be doing once I get it set up. So get your coffee. Yes, Anita.
Do you have what time to all of this round stuff? And I'm just trying to figure out pacing.
Sure. Camp, when would we do the photo share, do you think?
We probably need 30, maybe 30 minutes or so for photo share. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much is on the ones that got brought up here today.
At least 45 minutes.
45
Yeah.
minutes. Okay. So what? 11:15?
Yeah,
About an
we've got about an hour.
An hour to relax,
chit chat, enjoy some breakfast, and thank you MJ and for bringing some stuff in. So thank you Anita, thank you Tom, thank you Kemp, and
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
enjoy, relax, and just get to know one another and enjoy August.
Yes, ma'am. People can stand or they can bring their chairs.
Yes, you can stand or just walk around or bring your chairs or just see what's going on. Yeah, it's very informal. If you happen to have something that you want to see, how do you do this? Feel free to come. Okay, feel free to do that. Thank you.
So this starting now?
And yeah, in a couple.
Use this without knocking down your.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Artificial intelligence. I need to get that because I don't have no real intelligence.
Hey, Kemp.
You're from.
That's all the job to play with it. That's good.
Good morning. Well, that was those are the AI games. Things have changed so much into critical. The other aspect, it can't do anything. Yeah, I get through whether you want
Can you put the camera on?
usually with Photoshop. It's something.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. Actually, I checked out the great courses selection fee. Apparently, this organization donated it to this library. You have a sticker on the inside cover of the book. So I went to your website, saw the newsletters. You're not aware of any of this. Give a shadow organization you're not aware of, or
Yeah, well, welcome.
yeah.
That's right.
Offering them speech. And it was.
I'm pretty much a beginner, so it can be nice to help me learn and advance.
Well, yes, we.
Can you put the camera on one of the groups?
I'll do it now. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Pleasure meeting video. You think?
Well, first of all, I will show you the text.
And then this is what I did with
Kim, can anybody hear me there?
Very casual dealing practice.
What was that original shot taken?
Let's get it now ready. Take more than 2 seconds.
So, hey Kim, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Kim. I guess he can't hear us.
I guess not. This is kind of useless unless they put it on one group.
Yeah, I guess he's getting ready for photo share, but
hello? Anybody home? Hello? How do we get their attention? Anyway.
I don't know. You call him, I guess. He's got us on mute, probably.
Yeah. I sent him in the chat. I guess no one gets it. Anybody there? I don't suppose emailing is useful.
No, let me see if I got him in my contact.
It recommends what
Took all about 45 seconds to expand.
This photograph in there did not Speak election, and you can run a slide yourself. So. Hey,
hello again. Pleasure.
So another time, you may be like to so. I think we all agree that I got flashes. I think
We probably don't have an independent one yet, so.
Didn't turn it around, you got anything. I thought that's after what the signal I am.
Yeah. Name tags are great. Normally it takes you half the time to learn someone's name. That's very useful.
So, but that'll be your sit, that farm. They have like supported cameras. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure what we would use that for. Okay, but they have that. I found this, review, the video review, a good review.
Hello? Hey, Kim, it's Bill Red Horse.
Yes.
We're on Zoom, but can you turn the camera towards the group? There's a couple of us on here, we can't hear anybody. I mean, we can hear it, but we don't see anything but your screen.
And can you put the microphone at someone's place
Or
instead of generally?
I guess put the microphone. I guess that's Pat. Pat, is that you?
Presenter. Put the microphone on one of the presenters.
Yeah, put the microphone on one of the presenters or something. Is that possible?
Yeah, I'll see what's going on with the
Okay, and secondly, I found my Thousand Oaks optical very good filter to put on for doing eclipse. Are you going to be going to an eclipse?
No.
In the next couple of months? I'll bring it. I mean, I'm in North Carolina, but I'll bring it when I come back. Bye.
Mike, what do you want today?
Hello?
Bag that I carry.
Hello.
And got some bigger bag. What's amazing to me is how compact it is. Yeah, I remember when you first came around, you had a console this big. Sometimes it goes too far.
The next one.
Okay. Did I wipe out all of my? Yes, I did. Thought I did something, wipe out all of my. Yeah. Oh.
Especially the phones that are really high end now. It's not working as well as I wanted it to work, but that's okay. Are you good at this?
Okay, and so then
What exactly?
I'm just going to do a generative fill. And so I'm just going to type in hanging ivy. Hanging. Yeah. It's on that little floating menu. And which I have anchored up here on my top. I anchored it up here on my top. And so whenever you highlight anything, then that menu starts popping up, and generative fill is one of the options on there. And so I click the generative fill, and then it gives me a little window where I can type. And so I give it my prompt, and then I'm going to tell it to generate. And it will give me 3 options.
So anyway.
So it did a really good job. I like what it did on the wall. It really did a great job on the wall. And it did okay up here on the roof, but it decided it wanted to wipe this part of the roof out. Yeah. Here they are. Yeah. So here's option number 2 and option number 3. And option number 3 did a better job up here on the roof. And it did okay here on the wall too. It just left out this section up here. So I'll use that one. I'll get rid of these, and then just to help everything, and so I'll just flatten. I don't think so. Yeah. Well, the only thing you can do is like what I'm going to do here now. I'm just going to flatten that to get rid of the layers and make it all back into one layer. And then I can just go back in and change whichever areas that I didn't like, and I can go in and refine those or do.
You can't do any edits on an AI generated
Right.
layer. You know, so if you have an AI generated layer, you can't do any edits above it that affect that layer. So you have to flatten the image or combine it.
Yeah.
Oops. I was thinking about it. I was wondering, what if you create a new blank layer and merge that AI generated layer down into it? So you have basically the AI generated layer on a layer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. I never did that.
I have done some stuff like that where or duplicate my layer.
Yeah.
And then work on the duplicated layer and
merge
do that. Yeah. So I did a little bit of the roof there, and I'm gonna type in hanging ivy again. It actually creates a new layer, as we can see right here. It creates this layer here for the. It's what you, and it basically creates like a mask, and it's just working in that mask area, and so this is one of the options. That didn't do anything. That didn't do anything. So it gave me a little bit of stuff on that one, and you know it's not perfect. You have to work through it a lot of times, and do all, yeah. Yeah, right. When I flatten it back out, it gets rid of the mask and allows me to work on the whole picture together now. So I'm going to open this picture in here too, and I'm going to just select my subject, see what it does with it. All right. So, yeah. Well, you could probably do that. In fact, well, let's try that. Let's go back. Let's go back to this layer, and let's just. So I'm just going to select a little area over here, and I'm going to click my generative fill. Let's just say zombie. I'm a touch typist, but with my finger, it still hurts too much to type. Plus, I hit too many keys with the bandage there. So I'm gonna generate here, and let's see what it does. Oh, it does not like whatever it did. It did not comply with Adobe's. Yeah. So apparently, it doesn't like a zombie. Yeah. Yeah, apparently. So I'll deselect.
What a liberal.
So I'll go back over here, and so now I want to erase from my, get rid of head. Get rid of these. I'm just going to do this raw. I spent a little time in the picture when I did the picture for the Yeah, I'm gonna add that in. I was gonna get rid of his hand first. So now I want to switch this to add, and I'll grab the top of his ear and a rough outline here of his hat. I have a Wacom tablet, but I just, you know, I'm just so used to using a mouse instead. Let's add the sign. Every day. I'm gonna clean it up. Add that little bit that's missing. All right, so that's halfway decent. Let's get rid of.
That's AI.
Okay. So now I'm just going to copy this and go back over to this picture. I'm going to paste it in here. I'm going to paste. I copied that and I'm going to paste it over here into this picture. All right. So now I want to transform that. I want to scale it. So I need to.
Always good to have a spare zombie.
Make it a little bit larger. And
I usually put aliens in mine.
And click done.
Mine's also.
And so that was basically how I did this image. I couldn't remember whether I took that dome out of the picture or not, but I guess I did not. So it's easy. You just need to experiment with it. And so another thing that I thought, and it's something I had thought about doing in the past, was photographing mannequins and making them look like a real person. And so let me close these down. Y'all have any questions on
pick some area with selection and they'll just say fill it.
Yeah. Right, what you want to fill it with. And that's basically it. And it does, for some things, it really does a great job. For other things, it's so. It's Photoshop definitely doesn't have the quality, I think, with the AI for creating people that some of the web, some of those others. Well, yeah, and their faces just don't have the texture and the skin and all of that.
They do some of that stuff though to avoid copyright. Like I was fooling with the one, and I did put an alien and a flying saucer in it. And I was trying to get it in time and Roswell. It would not.
That's
It refused.
Yeah. Well, not here. I didn't select here where I wanted to paste it. I just pasted it and then transformed it to make it the size and put it where I wanted it to go using transform. Well, yeah, I was just doing that to size. So I got a mannequin and took a picture of a mannequin. And so I'll show you, this is what I've done with it, and I'll show you there how I actually accomplished it. So this was, bring that up. So this was the mannequin. So you can see even painted with flat acrylic paint, it still reflects light a whole lot more than human skin does. So you've got the reflections of the flash on the skin. You've got the seams and all that stuff. And so then basically what I was doing, I went in and got rid of the seams and then I decided, well, let me add some legs to the person because the original photograph was just a here. So I just decided to extend the photograph and it automatically added the legs to it. And then I decided, well, let's put it on a beach and let's blow the hair a little bit. And then I decided, well, let me get rid of the face. And this is where I say Photoshop doesn't do well. So I told it I just create another face, and this is what it did for a face was put that on there. So how accomplish this? And I used AI to do a lot of this. So I'll, like get rid of the same. And again, I'll just do the generative fill, but I don't need to tell it what I want it to do in this situation. All I need, I'm not going to give it a prompt to just say generate. Yeah.
Without the flash.
And so, and again, it gives me 3 different choices. And I'll take that one. And again, I'll just flatten the image. And I'll get rid of this seam here. Yeah, just to say, can I make a mannequin look like a person? Because I've seen other people, take people and make them look like mannequins. So you can do the same thing. You could put a line down and to make it look like seams and stuff like that. Oops.
So that's sort of like the remove tool when you take that line out. The remove tool would probably do that too.
Yeah, but this handles the remove tools, sometimes it does some weird things. Yeah, it just matches the color and the texture and some of the reflections and stuff like that. So I'll just keep one of these.
I did one where I put something in, and it actually put the shadow in the right direction to match the rest of the shadows in the picture.
I just don't want to sell it to
That's all we need. That's all we need. Get rid of our tests.
I think so.
Yeah.
So something like that.
I know that.
Yeah, so you can see it'll hit your end that unless you've got when you have built in
Oh, I know. Wouldn't do that before. The reason I wanted to get rid of that, but it wouldn't bring up the fill because I still had these extra layers here. So let me flatten the image again, and now I can go in here and get rid of that little effect in the wall, the background.
Yes, you can do a little bit more in light. With a mask or a highlight. But see, there's so much in post that you have to do.
Oh, because it helps to hit the generate.
Maybe on a line. Let's see. Sorry, Christopher, get back.
Another pose? Oh,
yeah. Let's see. 125, 61. Yeah. It looks like that. Yeah,
So that one did too good. It's okay, but I'll stick with it.
We can fix anything.
And there's a
AI, take a photo of this.
Sorry.
Exactly where I'm gonna start, exactly where I'm gonna finish.
Okay, so I want to get rid of some of these hot spots, and let me flatten the image first. All right, and so I found working with a lot of this stuff, you can do it 100%. It will work sometimes, and filling some things, but a lot of times that'll leave, some stuff that really looks kind of weird. So a lot of times if I want to blend it, which is basically what I'm trying to do, is blend the area. And so a lot of times for doing stuff like this, sometimes it might reduce the opacity down to like 50%, and it will blend, and maybe just do it a couple of times or so, and let it blend in. And another thing I've noticed of using the remove tool, because you can do some of the stuff, same thing with the remove tool. When you use the remove tool to do some of the stuff, sometimes it'll change the picture a little bit. And sometimes it really doesn't do very much. It did a little bit there, but the over here, the the bracelet, yeah, the little bracelet that she was wearing. Actually, probably. Well, let's see what, just using a remove tool. Uh, uh, so that did pretty good.
Wait, didn't you get a light?
Well, the remove tool, one thing I've noticed about the remove tool is, it puts these streaks. There's some like streaks running vertical here. It does that, and it did, a little bit there, but see, it's kind of changed. It also takes some of the oh shoot, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Crap. It takes away some of the color. It takes out some of the depth of the color, I think, too. So if I just let it redo that and see if it comes out any better. That looks pretty good there.
It's kind of like, I think there's better school.
And one other thing that using the fill, the content aware fill, is it wants to kind of just make everything the same, whatever it is. So it'll, in situations like this, then what it's going to do is it's kind of lose a little bit of the three-dimensional look of it. So one thing you can do to get that back is to go to the filters and add noise back to it, and that'll get it away from just being one flat color. That'll blend it back in and get rid of some of that. Yeah, so well, and it could use just generative fill to do these same things. In fact, it's probably quicker using the generative fill to get rid of these spots like this.
I was throwing my camera in the trash months ago.
I wish I could use this on my skin cancers.
And so, you know, it takes a little while if you want to, you know, do up that whole image, then you could work on the whole thing. But so, you know, that gets rid of a lot of the things that, you know, where you can look at it and tell initially that it was a mannequin, but you know, as you do more and more you do to it, more you can make it look like a real person. In fact, let's see what happens if I, well, and yeah, yeah, it's got a little bit of a twist to her. So if we select the subject, and now invert that, and then I can say, well, wait, before I do that though, let's cancel that and deselect. So let's do what I want to do now is come down here and I'm going to bring the image down a little bit. And so then I'm going to generative expand, and I'm not going to tell it what I want. I'm just going to let it do what it wants to do. And so it gave some funny looking legs or feet there. The legs didn't look too bad. So those aren't too bad. Yeah. Well, we're gonna put her on the beach. So barefoot's all right. Yeah. So we'll just make it a little bit larger too and just do a generative expand again, just to make it a little bit larger size. This is Photoshop. All right, so let me flatten everything here. And now I want to select the subject. I should have, I'll get rid of that layer. And should have flattened it here. All right, now The generative. Excellent. Okay. So now I want to flatten this, and then I'm going to expand it out. And generally, you want to get rid of multiple generative fill layers, and because it doesn't like working with more than one. Yeah. So I'm going to select the subject, and I won't, usually what I would do would be clean that up a little bit more, and let that menu go away so I can get up to my. There we go. So I want to invert my selection, and then I'm going to generative fill, and I'm just going to say standing on a beach. Ocean. In the background. I'm gonna put like she's standing on a beach. So I was selecting the background, and so I told it to generate a beach. Her standing on a beach with an ocean in the background. Yeah. And so I got, and it does the reflections and shadows. It'll do that, so you can see the reflections of her feet and shadows going out and everything. So it does a decent job. Yeah. Well, right, and had I maybe fuzz the edges a little bit, which you would want to do that if you wanted to do something make your edges a little bit fuzzier rather than a clean edge, and then it would get rid of some of that looking like a cutout on there. And you also want to select something. You want your lighting to be the same too. So what I should have done is tell it on a cloudy day or something like that, which would mean that since there's no real distinct lighting on her, she has no real shadows. So I could say on a cloudy day. Right, yeah. Well, and a lot of times it'll look at it. And I've seen that, if you take a picture, a person and the light is coming from one side, it will work with that and make the shadow, it'll agree with that. It can tell the direction that the light is coming from.
Hi, this is Mumford. If you will give me a quick call back, my number is 414-344-0118. Thank you.
Her standing on the toes doesn't really agree with that. She'd a little bit better if she's flat-footed, but that was the best looking feet that it had. But yeah, so that's how the Photoshop does a pretty good job of the AI. And allow you to do certain things. I was really surprised at how when it just expanded down, how it just automatically fills in the legs and everything.
You forgot your bag.
I know.
Okay.
So I went out to Dory Park and walked around for a while.
Yeah. So let's flatten it. No, this is a mannequin. Yeah. Let's just say a smiling face. See what it puts there. that one's pretty good. I like that one. Other than let's try some more. So all I'll do is just hit the generate again, and it'll give me some more choices. Yeah. Yeah. It probably, well, I don't know whether it uses Adobe stock images or what. Well, yeah, I guess it's got to be public domain stuff, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Put out a picture of a big crowd. Somebody went to the Photoshop and clean different things they didn't make it
next to the feeder and set it up to take pictures of something. Do it. Control it off my phone. Sitting there watching when they came.
I spent
I finally got it.
Slow.
But it was, yeah, I had it set up. I have to set the pan there like this.
Basically like 300 million.
Don't look. Don't look.
It made more than some of the people thought it would. Cheaper than regular. Where it was, well, are you back? I'm good. Thanks to see you.
Photo share.
We got a few minutes.
Yeah, we are.
Did you know that the streets of Paris were open for 20,000 everyday runners to run the marathon course every day? And they had like, bands underneath the overpasses. I mean, that is brilliant, and they should do that.
I found it in after we, said it sent it, and I hadn't seen it. So when I got home, I looked, and it was in my spam folder. So I brought them in and I loaded them on here, and so we'll start with that.
Can we get the lights?
Yeah.
They go down any farther. There we go.
So last month was the theme of red, and I missed the showcase here. But anyway, so these are some of my photos going along with that theme of red.
Ed Schrader.
Thank you. Got one that red out.
All right. So on for this month.
Yep. Oh, that's mine. I was out driving around in the country and there were a bunch of cows in the field. They came over to the fence and said hello. And so I took a shot of the leading cow. That's just somewhere out in Western Virginia, late afternoon. That's actually just outside the city of Richmond. I know there's a little road, and I've gone down a couple of times. And once I went down, and the guys who own the ranch were coming out in the pickup truck, and they were not nice. So I don't go back there anymore. Yeah, yeah.
So you want road?
Yeah, yeah. Just another country shot. Old barn. No, but I was trespassing here. This is a house that's actually falling down. And I thought it looked kind of nice in black and white. That's an old red barn, again, black and white. That's an abandoned schoolhouse. I thought it was a church at one time, but it's actually a schoolhouse, and it's up somewhere in the wilds of somewhere or other. But I just did a little post work to make it look a little older.
You just drive around until you're lost.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. And that's my wife keeps hoping I won't come back, but that's one of my favorite I've done a lot of old country churches. And this is one of my favorite country churches. It's I have no idea what the congregation is like, but I just like the building and the setting. And that was just some road I was on, and I liked the arrow pointing to the old house behind the fence. Anybody know where that is? Come on, it's Colonial Williamsburg. Not exactly the country, but I like the little touch of red. And this is one of my favorites. Private road, dead end, no turnaround. And if you look closely, there is no road. There's no road left. I just stopped at the side of the road and thought, you know, that's a great sign that doesn't have any use for anybody anymore. Anyway, that's my country stuff.
It's mine. To me, country is any place that doesn't have, 100-story buildings. I think this is on Barcelona Beach. That's converting Monet's gardens. It's in the town of Honfleur in France, in the Normandy region. Beautiful little harbor town. And yeah, that's actually one of my favorite photos. Also in Honfleur. I just saw that couple sitting on the stone there, and just really.
Were you when you played?
Huh?
I thought it was you when you played.
No, it's not a selfie. I think that's it. Oh no, that's the last one. This was in Ireland. Actually taken through a window of the bus. I look out the window, I mean, it's like, to me, it's just an iconic, stereotypical Irish picture. Yeah, with the rainbow coming down on the ground in the middle of the town. And I'm telling the bus driver, stop, we gotta go to the Bible.
I'll share it with you.
Yeah. And where the hell is that? I think that's in Greece. That's in Mykonos. That's it right there. Good.
Never mind. I was in Chicago recently, and that was a ceiling in a building. I have no idea what building it was. I made it black and white. And, there's a series of black and white buildings in Chicago. Oh, that's really cool. I could have put these in a better order. This is part of the black and white.
Hey, next to the other picture, was that fog or you did some extra things or what?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Go back, that one.
Yeah, what was falling?
The truth of the matter is, I did fall on this trip, but I broke the camera. The truth, and because the camera wasn't working, I have to admit this was done in post because my camera was not functioning properly after I fell and dropped it.
So the bottom part was, I mean, it's so clear on the bottom.
Yes, I did a blur, filter, and then I just masked out the bottom. Oh, that's cool. It works. Much easier than, yeah, I got lucky. Like I said, my camera wasn't functioning properly.
I'm glad you were.
Yeah, yeah.
Part of the question I was like,
we never know, Nancy, whether you're just shaking or not.
These are multiple exposures at Tuckahoe Creek. I've been experimenting with that. Sky was just great that day.
and how did you do that? That one?
That's 9 exposures.
So you're on a tripod there, right?
No, you walk around, you take a picture. I take a picture, then I take a step, and a picture, and a step, then a picture.
And then you combine it in post, or
What's in your camera? I used to combine it in post, but that was too hard, so now I just let my camera do it. Okay. And then I make some adjustments. This one is actually 18 shots, because I did 2 9s, two, and then I stacked those in post. The 2 9s.
It almost looks painterly.
Yeah, well, the more shots you get, the more painterly it looks.
These are mine. This was a couple of years ago. I took a drive out Blue Ridge Parkway. That's at Ravens Roast. Like the lighting for that one. And then as I continued down the road, I came across this old barn out there, which I thought was pretty cool. So I pulled off the road and got some shots of that. That's another view of the same barn. Pretty cool. And this is just a sunflower taken indoors. That's zinnia.
Now, did you photo stack those?
Yeah, those are both photo stacked. This is also photo stacked. That's a lantana. And this is a shot taken out at Lewis Ginter. The Joe Pye weed across the pond with the reflections I liked. And there weren't as many lotuses this year as I've seen in the past, but I was able to get a couple shots of lotuses out there on the lake. And this is a white mum that I picked up at the grocery store one day. And I just wanted to play around with it because white flowers are be a challenge trying to work with the lighting. So I did some interesting things playing around with that.
Is that one of your TV backgrounds there?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Very nice. This was the background was softbox, so all of the light was coming through the softbox. So it was just fully backlit. Same flower. Same flower. And then these were some close-ups of it, just trying to get. And then this was last week. I went to the Outer Banks. This was Sunday when we got there. It had rained when we first got there. I thought I'd take a chance and see if there was going to be a sunset. And the sun did finally come out from below the clouds, and got a pretty nice sunset that first night.
What aperture did you use to get the sunburst?
Probably f16. And then this was the next day. We didn't see the sun for a few days after that. This was just out on the ocean, but the clouds were interesting. Then we went to Bodie Island Lighthouse. Again, it was a cloudy day with it's an interesting day to be out there. And another shot of the lighthouse.
What do you process with? Excuse my voice.
Light. I use light. Yeah. And then this was our last night there. We had gone out to dinner. It was raining. And as we sat in the restaurant looking out over the sound, it looked like the sky was just starting to clear on the horizon. So we went out afterwards and walked on the boardwalk at dusk. And we did get a sunset. The sun didn't kind of break out underneath the clouds and was able to get some decent shots. And then that's what it looked like. Over to the far right there, it was very bright, and a little bit to the left, and then the sun just basically barely coming out from a cloud in the center there.
Down in Hopewell? It doesn't look like you at all.
Master of disguises. Now, this was down at Hopewell a few years ago. There were a group of people doing baptisms in the river. So I took a few shots of that. So that's kind of country. This is a Laurel Primitive Baptist Church on the Selma to Montgomery Road in Alabama. The typical photo cliche of a Blue Ridge.
Where am I?
This is Burke's Garden, Southwest Virginia.
I can tell he's 1.7 miles from Marvin Meek.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Driftwood at Westmoreland State Park. Another photo cliche in Pennsylvania. Tuskegee Airfield in Alabama. Can't get more country than Hank Williams. Church in Harper's Ferry. Both are at Westmoreland State Park. This is the Laurel Grove Cemetery in Savannah at dawn when all the spirits are going back into the grave. Another Blue Ridge photo cliche, I'm afraid. This is looking at Manhattan over the Jersey Meadows. My hometown of Lyndhurst, New Jersey. That's a different tweet. This old house is in Explorer Park in Roanoke. Another shot from Westmoreland State Park. It's in here because it is its own country. A garish neon wonderland at night.
Is it still there, I think?
Yes, yes.
I've never been by there after dark.
I think after dark, it looks much better. You know, like, a little seedy. This is dawn at Westmoreland State Park several years ago. It's in West Virginia.
Like a point.
Yeah. The round red barn at Shelburne Farm in Vermont. The railroad bridge over the Rappahannock in Fredericksburg from City Dock. We restored railroad depot in rural Retreat, Virginia. Cahola Lake in Pennsylvania in fall. Suncoast Jewel plant in Jewel, Virginia.
Studios and
the ocean is its own country.
We are published or none. So please leave us a message, call you back as soon as possible. We are open every day, including weekends, from 11 a.m. until
Tacoma, Virginia. Yes, I didn't know there. Was well. I went there and said, hey, look, there's two people who know where it is. And this is looking out over Lake Champlain.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up
Into
or
New York
press
State.
1 for more options.
Hi, this is Patricia Mumford. Please return this call when you get it. It is 11:30 and it should be open.
So between North and Code, US 58.
Okay, now that Jewel, where is Jewel?
That's down there too. It's like as well, I think, we're marrying.
I'll find it on Google Maps.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, definitely, we'll expect that on our next meeting.
It's not much. One of those places.
No, exactly.
This is a shot in Chesterfield. Farmstead from at least 100 years ago. The area of Chesterfield that I live in is mostly the subdivisions, but there are just little pockets of country. And this is one example. And this is another example just around the corner of the previous shot. This is a country store. And this really just had a little white spot in the road that was here for visiting, but it does have a library. 3 houses, a gas station, country store, and a library. This is at Cleveland, Virginia. And we have a real museum there, pretty interesting if you like trains. This is a view of in the cab of the locomotive. And this is also in Crewe. They have a major rail yard there. I took a shot. I like the video. And this is in Burkeville. I thought I'd never seen a building quite like this with brick columns. And so I took this shot. And I took a little baby step into AI by removing the power lines. There was no way I could get a shot without getting the power lines in, and I thought they kind of ruined them. So it worked pretty well. I used Lightroom AI.
These are mine. I figured nothing says country like a family reunion in Pennsylvania County going on a hayride. And the woman in yellow standing up directing traffic is my wife. Of course, nothing else says.
Say no more.
Okay, there you go. Call this a fence runs through it. It's in the high country of Northern California. This is where I grew up in flat northwestern Ohio, about 40 miles west of Toledo. I was visiting family in the autumn. Corn stubble was sitting there, and some, you know, see a silo, trees a turn. This is down in central Mexico. I call this, are we there yet? Now back to Ohio in the wintertime. I took this photo just outside of Charlottesville. It's in Albemarle County, south of Charlottesville. I just caught the light perfectly in the afternoon. In fact, I have a fairly large print of this hanging over my fireplace. Yeah. Another shot of the Blue Ridge. I call this one Sun-Kissed Lovers.
This is a shot I took several years ago, and I don't think it needs any explanation. It's at the Tomb of the Unknown, but I was just taken by the picture by the uniformity of their heels hitting the ground, their right wrist almost in exactly the same position. So it's one of my favorite pictures in terms of the memorial, Tomb of the Unknown. Monticello, this picture again, I also took this several years ago, and I was captivated by the reflection in the pool, and I put it into competition when I belonged to the camera club back in Michigan. Even though I was living here, I belonged for several years. For some reason, never did very well, but it's kind of a favorite. This is a barn in Traverse City, Michigan, not too far from where my son lives. And I got pictures of this barn at all 4 seasons. And there was the one I really liked the most is one that was taken in a rather heavy snowstorm. It was cloudy, the snow was coming down. But when I looked at it to get ready for this, I noticed that it was almost impossible to separate the sky from the roof. I mean, the shading was almost identical. It didn't look right. So I opted for this one. And this, of course, is during those troubling times downtown. And this is a poster that they had on a Jersey barrier. And I took it, and it's one of those memories that's going to be etched into my mind probably until the day I die. Lastly is I'm a train buff too, and there's an old railroad yard in Stanton. It just kind of is, we found it by accident. My wife and I were chasing the 611 one day, and as we were going out of town, this railroad yard is just there, and these locomotives are just parked there. It's at one time must have been a plant of some kind. You can just go up and walk all around. There's absolutely nobody there to stop you, and you can climb on them if you can get up that far. But it was a picture that kind of reminded me of a bygone era. So I think that's
Chuck, when you're chasing trains.
Was I changing trains?
When you chase trains.
Oh, yes.
Does your wife go willingly?
Yeah, she did, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the only time I've ever done it.
Okay.
And so we went from Stanton to, can't think of the name of the town where the 611 went. And they told us that when I went on the web the night before, that the locomotive was having problems and they weren't going to run it. I said, well, let's go out anyway. And when we did, we got into Stanton. The locomotive was coming in. The crew worked all night long to get that locomotive to run again. And so we got pictures all on 200 pictures from one end. We got chased it back and forth. Yeah, a lot of fun. I think Kemp's got some pictures of that too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is mine. This is a bridge over at Kiowa Island. Caught my attention with the colors. This is actually Spider's dining area over at University of Richmond.
Sorry, I can't see who's talking.
Ed Strader.
Ed, thank you.
Little guy.
Oh, this is mine. This is out at Wade's Mill. Little log cabin. And this is also up there in Wade's Mill, or near Wade's Mill. And this is a little shack near Beaver Dam. Fix her up. Yeah.
Tiny home.
Your brothers will take care of it.
This is Appomattox Courthouse. This was actually where that little house was a couple pictures back. A horse. I like him. He wanted this picture taken, I think.
This one didn't.
That's out at Montpelier. And that's a newborn at Tuckahoe Plantation.
This one's mine, Mary Jack. It was taken in New Mexico. We were on some back roads, and this is how they got water for the stock that wandered in that area. There's no water really.
Is that the only one you had?
That's the only one.
Okay, that's the last picture. Got it. That's all of them.
Okay, great.
Sure.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much, everybody who sent photographs. And remember, library show, and remember, free stuff. Free stuff for a year.
So somebody stuff behind Brad Bagel, we're not letting you out of here.
And the challenge is for the new player. Challenge. Black and white photographs. Thank you for the echo. I will real. Who took their sunglasses? I need. All right, yeah. Oh, yeah.